Good
Sure, sure.
evening to everyone joining us from across time zones and geographies. On behalf of Office of Alumni Engagement at Christ University, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to yet another thoughtful edition of Global Connect series. Today's webinar, Global Pathway, Social Work Careers in Australia, it's not merely a professional conversation. It is a dialogue across continents, expressions, and across generations of Christites. The Global Connect series was envisioned as a bridge, one that connects aspiration with lived experiences, learning with leadership, campus memory with global possibilities. In that spirit, today we gather to listen, to reflect, and to explore how social work as a vocation and as a profession finds meaningful expression in the Australian context. Before we formally begin, it is my privilege and responsibility to acknowledge the visionary leadership and collective goodwill that makes initiatives such as this possible. We express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Father Joe Ceci, Vice Chancellor, for his steadfast encouragement of alumni engagement as an integral dimension of institutional growth. A heartfelt thanks to Dr. Father Josie, Director, Banarkhata Campus, for his continued support in strengthening academic and alumni collaboration. We are grateful to acknowledge Brigadier Director Jagdish, Office of Alumni Engagement, Center of Placement, Career Guidance, whose leadership has consistently transferred alumni relation into purposeful engagement. We extend our appreciation to Dr. Rishikesh KB, Associate Director, Institutional Partnership, Internship, and Alumni Connect, for nurturing meaningful industry alumni linkage that opens new horizons for our students and graduates. We also recognize with gratitude the mentors of Middle East chapter, to all our alumni who have so generously reconnected with Christ University, offering not only their time and expertise but also enduring sense of belongingness. To all our alumni, student, faculty members, and participants joining us today, welcome home. To set the tone for this evening and to share the opening speech, I would now appreciate Dr. Rishikesh KB, Associate Director, Institutional Partnership and Internship, to address the gathering. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Aditi. Am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Can you
you
hear
are.
me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So good evening and good afternoon or good morning. I don't know. People are there from every part of the globe. So all of you alumni, students, faculty members, and friends joining from India, especially Australia and across different parts of the world. It's a privilege to welcome you to this edition of Christ Alumni Global Connect series hosted by the Office of Alumni Engagement. And today's session on global pathways, social work careers in Australia, I think it's both timely and significant, not because it explores professional mobility, but because we have also placed it or situates in the context of a global framework in where responsibility, ethics, human dignity, and several other aspects I'm assuming will get covered in this because social work as such has always been for me at least, the way I've seen some of my friends who have chosen this as a career, for them it has always been more than just an occupation. It's of course a discipline rooted on justice, community transformation, and there are wide range of things that people generally do address. One is probably migration, sometimes multiculturalism, addressing the issues and challenges of aging population, mental health concern, indigenous rights. That's probably more relevant in the Australian context, and several other connected aspects. And from my understanding, Australia has its own structured social welfare architecture and regulatory frameworks. And therefore, for many Indian graduates, especially the Christites, who is also the primary target audience of this webinar, many of them have plans of migrating or finding a life over at Australia. And to understand the nuances of uh, what beyond academic qualification, what kind of registration bodies, visa processing, workplace expectations, internships, all of that, I hope this webinar would address. And that's precisely why this conversation matters. And that's also the reason why we are planning or have been doing it for the past more than a year, bringing in a lot of experts from our regional and global chapters to bridge the campus with lived global experiences. So thank you once again on behalf of the Office of Alumni Engagement, both Shiji sir and also ma'am who joined us today to share your expertise with us on a very, very relevant topic. Uh, Over to you, Aditi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those inspiring and grounding words. Your reflection reminds us that global journeys are more meaningful and have anchored values. It is now my honor to introduce our distinguished alumni speaker for the evening. First, we have Ms. Shiji Thomas from BAHEP 1999 batch, an alumnus whose professional journey exemplifies commitment to social work. Mr. Thomas has craved a significant pathway in social work ecosystem in Australia. With years of experience engaging with diverse community, navigating regular framework, and contributing to inclusive welfare system, he brings both the strategic insights and grassroots wisdom to field. His journey reflects not only professional excellence but also adaptability and resilience required to thrive in international context. Joining him, Ms. Laxmi Nair from EPS 2002 batch. Ms. Nair's work in Australia stands as a testament to the evolving and interdisciplinary nature of social work practice. Her experience spans engagement with multicultural communities, advocacy, and structured intervention models that responds to contemporary social challenges. She brings to us a perspective in both empathetic and analytical, deep rooted in practice yet attentive to policies and systemic dimensions. Together, they represent 2 decades of global engagement shaped by foundational values of Christ University. Ms. C.G. Thomas and Ms. Lakshmi Nair, we're truly delighted to have you with us today. This platform is all yours.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Aditi. Okay, I think let us begin. And we want to make it more interactive session. So
Yeah.
we welcome questions from the audience.
Of course. So we just make it, we just come with a few slides, but we make it more interactive because talking about Australia is just a big thing. So we just come up with anything that you want to know in between, just ask us. And then if we have any questions or anything you want to know apart from the slide, just please ask. Yeah.
And again, Lakshmi comes with the social work background from India. She studied social work in India, and I studied social work in Australia. So we got that different experience, studying here in social work, and for Lakshmi in India, then going through that process of migration and sort of things.
What we have done, and what if you want to come here for studies and get a social work graduation, and how you want to work. So we just mix with both experience coming from, so it would be beneficial for you for migrating as well as for study as well.
All right. I think we'll move to the next slide, and
I'll just say some. Okay, just thank you so much for Christ College for giving us the opportunity. We never thought that we would be presenting a slide, or you would be representing Christ alumni once you are here. And it was I used to say that what I am here is just because of Christ College. So I did my graduation in EPS, economics, political science, and sociology. And then I did my master's in social work from Bangalore University after Christ. So I studied in Bangalore University, and 1 year I taught in Garden City College, Bangalore. and then migrated back to Kerala. I've got 5 years of experience working as a social worker in a hospital setting, and then later on, I just migrated to Australia in 2009. And then,
Yeah. Yeah, same. I studied 2009, as Aditi mentioned, HEP batch, migrated to Australia, studied social work. So started as a career social work in case management, social work in Australian government. And so Australia had the second largest social reform, which is called National Disability Insurance Scheme. That is the second largest social reform in Australia. And I'm one of the directors in that government agency. So I manage a large area of like in Victorian state for the social work and related field. Go to the, yeah.
okay. So we start with life in Australia and why we migrate. It's basically how we migrate. It's just because we migrated maybe 17, 18 years ago, and you look Australia as definitely we have no regret coming to Australia. It's definitely a place where we give, kind of what you expect, and in the career wise, life wise, if you want to study wise, everything, economy wise. So, and you also have a multicultural society, as you know. Not all people, European, Asians, Indian, all people. We work with multicultural community, so we have colleagues from different background. It actually make us more rich, richer in experience, sharing knowledge. All those things make us to it's just what we are here. So it's got world-class cities, Melbourne, most of you would have seen about Melbourne Cricket Ground. So MCG, the cricket happens. You have heard of Sydney. So we both are based in Melbourne, in Australia. So there are a lot of alumni based in Sydney who studied in Christ College. Some of them are from even Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth. The cities are so wonderful, and all cities are different in their own ways. So we all from Melbourne. The capital territory is Canberra, which is in between Sydney and Melbourne. And stunning nature, of course. Australia is one of the most beautiful country in the world, also a continent. It has got natural nature sceneries, and you can always go on weekends to any part of the world. On the city, it's there. We spend time outdoors, and it's a great place to live in. And of course, a strong economy. And also about multicultural society, as I said. So it goes the world-class healthcare, as I said, education, and also safety for whoever is the permanent residents. So Medicare is free. We have social securities as well, so unemployment benefit. We have center called Centrelink. They offer social securities. Shiji
Yeah.
Thomas work with NDIS, which is the National Disability Insurance Organization. It's specifically meant for people with disability, and it gives a lot of support with vulnerable, deprived, so all class of people. So you have, regardless, there's the public system, healthcare system is free for us, and visiting GP hospital is just free. And also, not only about emergency care, it's all about social security as well. And also definitely about universities. Australia has got, a lot of universities that you can pursue studying, and they are all world class, and also globally recognized degrees and qualification. And we'll come to that way how you can migrate to Australia, and also talking about safety and security. Is the fourth safest country in the world, low in crime, and strong support with police, justice system, family violence. There's got a lot of professionals working across, like how we all work in this system. We'll come through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we thought we'll give you a little bit of about Australia, which we covered, the life in Australia as well. How important is sports, culture, family, so all around there are, as Australia is bigger, we have, different weather, climate.
Weather.
So, like if you want to have some tropical weather, we got Queensland. If you want to experience with winter, we go also has got snow in near Melbourne. So we got everything in Australia.
If you're in Melbourne, you can see all four seasons. At the moment, we have summer being moving to autumn, and it's just beautiful being here. And yeah.
I think that's all about bit about Australia, but I think the topic is social work. So let us get into the topic. What is social work? Why social work? As you all know, I believe some of you are social workers who is attending this session as well. So social workers in Australia support the individuals, families, groups, and communities across Australia. As we did mention, they work in a wide range of settings that in federal and state government, just like me, I work in the federal government. There are people, social workers. There's a lot of opportunity in government vacancies, but in the state government, there is no citizenship requirement to be working in. But in federal government, you have to be a citizen to have to be an Australian citizen to work in the federal government. But state government, there is no requirement. So I mean, like a migrant, who's coming, he can just start working there. That's not an issue. There's a lot of people working in the hospital and healthcare sector. That's a main another area of employment, schools, education, community services, and a lot of private practices.
Can I ask you, like, how many of you are from social work? In whoever
just raise your hands. Yeah,
it's basically okay. So most of you are from social work. You are pursuing masters in social work. Is that correct? Okay. Thank you. So just wanting to know whether anyone from the graduation background or EPS, HEP, EPS, ECO, who is looking to pursue as a social worker. So basically, you all are from social work background, isn't it? Okay.
Anyway, we are covering both, like what we are trying to do for the social workers. What are the options for people studying other courses? They want to study masters in social work here as well.
We cover two different pathways, so we'll make it more. If you have any questions in between, just ask us. So
Good. Go to the next slide.
Just I'm sorry. Okay, I'll just make it like this because it's playing up. I'm so sorry for that. We actually done.
Okay.
And it's just social workers with many names, one profession. What we do is basically what you study there. Maybe you might, I'm not sure, like we studied casework, group work, community, and is that what you all study now? I'm not sure about what you study in masters. So what we do is just practically applying all what we have learned in case management. It's just casework, and then group work is just we work with a multidisciplinary group, and so it's basically applying what you have studied. So it's just one profession with different names here. So yeah.
Yeah. So not everyone is actually called as a social work when they are working. For example, if you're working in hospital, they may call social workers. Maybe in our social security system, they may be calling social workers. Some places, they will be doing as a counselor. Most of the job opportunities are in case management. There's a lot of mental health clinicians. There's a lot of Indian social workers actually work as mental health clinician because we have got a very strong mental health system in Australia, and there's a lot of social workers works there. The community workers, housing workers, there are a lot of work as a team manager, policy advisor, youth worker, well-being coordinator, support coordinators, child protection. That's another significant area of work is in child protection. And so there's a lot of social workers work as child protection practitioners. There's a lot of practitioners as a social workers work in Australia. So there's plenty of job opportunities, plenty of opportunities, and you don't need to stick with one.
You can even play up. You don't have to be like I have got vast experience in working as a case manager, disability support officer. Then I have worked as a family violence practitioner for some time. So it's just working with different people, but you apply the same principles and practices. Because Australia gives more importance to safety, security, and all. So it's just need of lot of social workers in this country where we actually help community to be safe and also healthy and well-being. We look after the well-being, safety, and of the people here. So it's where we work with. We make policies like Shiji Thomas. He make policies for people with disability. So a kind of a lot of role that we do.
Okay. How social workers make a difference? So as we talk about, a lot of one-to-one counseling where they work with, again, including the migrants and, as a multicultural, there is a lot of asylum seekers, refugees, other people with issues. So they work as a one-to-one counseling, also do a lot of group work, community development, policy development, and advocacy. As we said, these are some of the different work the social workers do. The next one.
So, yes, and so basically, like for example, if you know someone who are involved in family violence, we as a social workers have to report, and you need to help them find a shelter. You need to help them with you provide advocacy services, you provide support, you provide one-to-one support. It's all part of it. It don't have to be like you only provide counseling, only advocacy. It involves everything. Like we do multiple roles in one position.
Again, that's another area for employment. There's a lot of domestic violence because everything we take very seriously here in Australia. So
Australia is one of the safest place for women. So a lot of Indian social workers who work in the domestic violence practitioner, family violence practitioner, so and also child protection practitioners. Australia gave a lot of care and importance for children. So they are abused over children. So the children are more vulnerable sector. So Australia considers children as a top more priority. So they provide all the child protection practitioners is one field that social workers can actually work. So it doesn't belong to one position. You can even work in the different sectors.
yeah. So why we are saying this one, if you're looking for in Australia, you need to look at not just a social worker. These are some of the professions which we said need social workers. So these are the the social work qualification or similar qualifications required for those roles, except in, like, there are some places where you need a mandatory social work, but others, it's social work will actually, the underlying principle is a social work. So that, so you need to look for, when you're looking for any job opportunities, make sure that you look at in those titles as well. All right, I think we will look at some of the, any questions anyone to ask, free to stop us, otherwise we'll move to qualification education pathways. There are two ways to become a social worker in Australia. So one is the Bachelor of Social Work. That's a 4-year degree. After the year at 12, then, or if you already have a bachelor degree, you could do Master of Social Work. That is a postgraduate course, 2-year degree. So when there are other Masters Social Work. If you're doing a Master of Social Work in Australia, need to make sure you're doing the qualifying Master Social Work, because there are other social work degree which may not become the qualification to become a social worker. So it's important, if you're studying masters, make sure that it has got the Australian Association of Social Workers accreditation as a qualifying degree. So that's something if you need to look if you're applying for the social work
Yeah,
in
just like
masters.
university, you do have to have a lot of research about where you want to study. If you are coming for studies, don't get into people fake or scammers. Just have a lot of research and then choose the right universities where you want to study, and look at whether they are qualified for social work graduation. And also, if you wanted to study bachelor social work, there are also university degrees, so that also is being qualified as social workers. You can even come and study here for bachelor.
Yeah.
I think once you are, because you have mostly Christ University have bachelor program, and I think if you want to look into, you can, it could be masters would be an option for social work.
Yeah. So if you already studied Master of Social Work in Christ, if you want to come for other studies, just to further strengthen your social work practices, that's child and family practice or mental health practice. There are courses, counseling, psychotherapy or art therapy. There are which we can talk. There are universities offering a master's program. Which is an enhancement to the social work, because if you already got a social work degree, I mean the Master of Social Work in India, because in India Master of Social Work is the qualifying degree. In Australia it is both a bachelor and master is there. That's why the difference when you're studying masters, if you're studying masters in social work in Australia, the importance of the qualifying degree, because there are other social work master's programs also. For example, someone who studied a Bachelor of Social Work and a qualified social work may want to do a master's, and they may do a Master of Social Work without qualifying, because they already qualified social worker. That's a difference. I'm going to go to the next slide.
So yeah, like
Okay, this
so
one. Yeah.
again the same slide. So study option for overseas qualified social workers. So if you are already studied social work back in India and you want to migrate as a social worker, like how I did, so what you have to do, you can either come for what we are talking about study option, and later will come about how we are migrating as the permanent resident or other visa. So if you wanted to come, so because migrating permanently will take some time, and also you need to have some related work experience. And if you can't wait and for that 5-year experience and all, some people opt to come as a student, like for master social work. So just be sure that there are a lot of social work study options that for qualified social workers. So it's a master's in advanced social work practice. You can even do research. You can even do PhD program. And also there are specific, we remove the universities that are offering these degrees because we weren't sure that whether we could add the universities. But if you wanted to browse in Google or something, if you want to know, there are a lot of universities that are offering art therapy. Art therapy is also one thing that you want to pursue that's been accredited and qualified here.
Yeah.
Counseling, psychotherapy, you want to do a postgraduate in social policy, that also is there. And mental health practice is another area where you can study as you wanted to pursue, another after social work, you wanted to specialize in mental health, you can even have a post graduation in mental health practice, MPhil in mental health, or PhD, or even there are a lot of study options for qualified social workers.
Yeah. And again, like, if anyone is more interested to know more, we are happy to support. We can contact the
Yeah.
alumni office and, take our details, and we can actually provide some mentoring support if you further wants to know a bit more about which universities are offering, which is a good university here if you are going to study. So those for the already qualified social workers. Others, definitely it is a social work. Master of Social Work is a more appropriate degree for studies. All right.
So I think Sharon will be the best person to talk about salary and ranges. Of course, social workers are the very rewarding job. You can, a qualified social workers can earn base base would be like 70,000. So if you multiply that into 64, sorry, divided by 64, sorry,
Or
yeah,
multiply by
multiply.
64. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I'm very bad at math.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think today the in $1 is 64 Indian rupee.
So,
So if you wanted to calculate, so that it's a very rewarding job. That's
yeah,
yeah,
70,000 is the the
they
probably the base. I don't think any most of the social workers will be getting around 80.
yeah,
80 around. Then as the experience in they get more. Hospital and mental health practitioners,
yeah.
definitely the salary is more. And again, doesn't need to be that 80 years to wait. If you can actually, people are, if they are very serious about their career progression sort of things, you don't need to wait for years. After a couple of years, definitely people can look for the higher level positions and senior level positions. They're also, if you look at the mostly the range in, the senior clinician, they all get 130 plus sort of things. Again, if you're in managerial role, that's also get additional, better salary. Yeah, so good.
So basically, it's just a very rewarding job. All you need is to find the right place, and then from there you have got like APS level, like Australian Public Service. So it's just great. Level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7. It all goes up to, and also the salary range will also change along with the levels. Social work, when come to social workers in hospital, it is like social worker grade 1, social worker grade 2. It's just more you experience, more rewarding the salary would be. But 70 to 80,000, 85,000 is not a small money compared to other professionals. Social workers are
Yeah.
very, very considered to be very rewarded
Basically,
position.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
have a decent with that salary you can have a decent life in Australia. So that salary is similar to like a nurse or a policeman. They
Mm,
all similar sort of salary range.
yeah. So then comes to
Yeah.
then comes to ASW. This is where you have to go. So ASW, if you wanted to practice as a qualified social worker, and if you wanted to get all those remuneration, salaries and rewards, and obviously you want to go have a better life, so obviously you need to have a qualified. It's not about you study. I'm not sure in India I know that for nursing graduates, you need to be have a registered in the state level. I know, but to for a social worker to be practicing as a social worker, or you want to get as a social worker role, you need to be having an Australian. You need to be qualified by or assessed by Australian Association of Social Workers. We both are part of social ASSW. So whoever wants to migrate as a social worker, ASSW is the first thing that you need to be having. So ASSW means Australian Association of Social Workers. It is a standard setting body for social work in Australia. While registration is not legally required, most employers expect ASSW eligibility. So when you apply for a social work position, definitely they will ask for whether you have an ASSW or you are. Yeah, if you want to really practice as a social worker, it's better to have a social work. You have a
Combination.
part of ASSW. So I just roughly say show you about ASSW. So this is the ASSW. So this is their website. So ASSW, Australian Association of Social Workers. So if you wanted to write it down, that also is okay. So ASW. So they it talk about everything. It talk about what about social work, where social work, and what social workers do, how social workers work in Australia, how to find a social worker, seeing a social worker, so everything. And comes to membership, so professional development. They offer a lot of courses which help you to practice as a social worker. And
Yeah,
she'll
we'll
talk
go to the
about
next one.
the
I
prof-
can go to the slides. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
The next slide is
this one, social worker. Okay.
okay, there, that's fine. Yeah,
Uh,
so again, the ASW, you don't need to be a member with the Australian Association of Social Worker to practice, but you need to be eligible to become a member to practice in Australia as a social worker. So membership costs money. That's why, and it's not mandatory in Australia to be a member of this association, but you need to have eligibility to become the member. For example, Lakshmi is a current member of the ASW. I am not, because because I'm in the public sector, so that's why I didn't want to be. I'm not be a member, but no required. I don't need to be a member, and Lakshmi also not need to
need to
be a
be required
member.
member,
But it
but
is there are
it's your
benefit.
priority, it's your choice,
Yeah,
personal choice if you want to be a member or not. But once you are migrating as a social worker from India, you need to be
yeah,
definitely be qualified and assessed by
y-
ASSW. So
yes. So
ASSW not only provides support, it also the regulatory body to assess your
migration. Yeah,
qualification that you have already got from Christ University or any other, So if you
yeah.
want to migrate us, you need to come through ASSW.
So they do two function. One for the migration purpose, they are the assessing because you need to have a skill. Your skill is a social worker, so you studied there. That social work qualification need to be equivalent to the social work in Australia, and this is the body who actually assess that requirement. I know the courses what you taught in Christ is a high standard, so the ASW recognize the Christ social work. So you don't need to be worried about whether
Yeah,
you will be get assessed and whether you get any yes assessment. So
yeah.
definitely the the assessment you will have the studies in Christ will definitely qualify to be assessed for migration purpose from ASW.
I will
So
tell you a story that when I was migrating from, I studied from social work from Bangalore University. So it was the first person to, they didn't have a transcript. They didn't know what was transcript about. because that means that that time they haven't heard about how about transcript in Bangalore University social work department. So then I have to go and explain about what the transcript is. So but I don't think Christ University student would definitely be eligible, and you have all set of qualifications and transcript and relevant skilled experience to be migrating as social workers.
Yeah. So as I said, like, your master's degree in Australia, sorry, in overseas, that's Christ,
Has
get
to be,
assessed by
yeah,
the ASW. So usually you can now minimum that's, the study, the 100 hours of
your field
field work,
practice, yeah, if you,
that's 140 days here. So the experience, I think you can do with even within 1 year. They, with the experience, you can still ask for skill migration. You don't make assessment. You don't need to be 5 years of experience.
yeah,
Still you can actually apply for those, the migration purpose. Uh, you can still, mostly for sort of a to get into a permanent residency. That's what we need, that 3 years of sort of experience. That's for the permanent residency. But to work in a different visa, you don't need that experience. With your studies, you can actually get your qualification assessed. But again, the English language, IELTS 7 score is required. So all need to be certified, transcript, resume, everything need to be submitted through the My ASW portal. So that's about ASW. As Lakshmi shown before, uh, the ASW has got the most of the information which we have spoken here. In that, the website will have a lot of
okay,
information.
sure. And also, social work is one of the skilled occupation in Australia. You need social workers. Australia need a lot of social workers. So every year, the social workers are needed for so in here. So the social workers have got a lot of opportunities in migrating to Australia. So, but you need to go through ASSW first. You need to assess the skill and then start all those process. So yeah, definitely ASSW. Why it matters for you? Because ASSW is the professional body for social workers in Australia. It sets national standards for education, ethics, and professional practice. Required or strongly preferred for most Australian employers. Mandatory for skill assessment and migration purposes, and eligibility depend on completing ASSW accredited BSW, MSW, what you have done overseas. So these are the websites. So assw.asn.au. Basically, if you go through the website, you can get all the information about where you want to migrate, how you can migrate. So mentor program. So a lot of these are the membership options. But am I eligible? See, so for example, membership, how who are eligible for this internationally qualified social workers. Did you see that? So what you have to do for migrating purposes. It talk about migration. So yeah, it talk about how you need to migrate for migration. Say eligible if you are eligible to work in as a social work practice. So it talk about a lot of visas, like which visa you can migrate, and go through this ASSW website. You get all those information. This is the first pathway to migrate as a social
Yeah.
worker.
There are also social workers who actually practice as a social worker. They are registered member of the ASW, and they do like like they are not part of any employment, but they're self-employed and do social work practices. We didn't talk about those in details because as a young social worker who's coming, probably
Yeah,
not
you.
much more relevance, because you need to know more about the social work practices. There are, for example, uh, I myself or Lakshmi, we could do our own practice as a social work practitioner, and we can, where there will be then people come and see, they work in medical practices or other practices where people will come and see you and either pay from the insurance or Medicare, which is the government insurance, or from National Disability Insurance Agency, where scheme that the if you got a disability. So there are other options which we didn't cover. The reason is that's for a bit more experienced social workers.
In this website, it says that if you want to study, education, employment, international qualification, recognition, everything, whatever you look wanting to find it, it's you can because for you to migrate as a social worker, you want to come by yourself. It's just the pathway. So ASSW, it talk about how you want to get access. What are the visas that you can migrate as a social worker?
Also, even if you're not migrating, but if you're just coming for just, there are opportunities for just for working visas. There are people, social workers come for working visa. So still they need the ASW skill assessment in order to practice as a social worker.
For example, if you are coming as a spouse, for example, as a husband working, migrated as an IT professional, and the wife is a social worker who had background in India. And if you wanted to practice really as a social worker, to get a real social worker job, you need to be, as your skill must be assessed as a ASSW. So you need to go through all those English language tests and working experience, or 1,000 hours fieldwork experience to get this qualification. So basically, what make your life balance in Australia? Australia have got a very good work-life balance. We work only 38 hours.
37.5 mostly, yeah.
5 days a week, so Monday to Friday. Most of the social workers work from Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday is a day off here. You don't have to work, or you don't be disturbed by any other people. So there is a very pure work-life balance in Australia. You don't be bothered by employers to pick up the phone or anything. If you are not working, means you are not working. And also it's a 38 hour standard working week, 4 weeks paid annual leave, 10 days paid sick leave, and you
That's a
have
minimum.
another loading.
You
Yes.
may get more in some places, yeah.
That's just a statutory, like government requires for all organizations. You need to be looking after. We have work safe. Your employers are being looked after. You have a work safe commission. If you have any problem with that work, you have a work safe that you can reach out. There are unions where you can be a member, and also if you have any trouble with anything in your work, you can even reach out to them. So
unlike in India,
uh,
there's only one union for one profession, so there's not too many unions. So, for example, I work for the government, so the community civic there's only one CPSU. That's our union. It's only one union. The same as
there's community workers union. So you don't have to be a member, or it's up to you. If you want to be a member, they will support you for any issues at workplace. It's not like so many unions or anything. It's completely different from what you see in India. It's very professional. Even unions are also very professional. They work as a professional organization. And yes, so, and also you have, apart from work, you have a life balance. You have got a unique wildlife. You can see kangaroos, koalas, wombats, platypus. That's not found anywhere. You can see kangaroo on the roadside. You can see koalas. So it's a very big wildlife place that you can. It's just nice. And also, Australia is also a continent and also an island. So it's surrounded by waters. Great. But have you any of you been to Australia before? Has anyone been to Australia? No, you are most welcome to come and visit for holidays, for studies, for work. And as Shiji Thomas said, you have any questions, even after this webinar, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you, mentor you. Yeah. And then comes to national parks. It's all about the work-life balance. All weekends, most of us, we all are outdoor. We go outing. We have a family. It's just very nice to be working here.
In case you're working on a Saturday and Sunday, you will get penalty.
Yes, the penalty
Yeah.
means double. You get
Or half
yeah.
of the, 50% of your salary additional payment. Yeah, if you're working 38 hours, you will get 1 day per month as as
Or audio
roster day
off.
off. Some places, so let's say 37.5, then they don't get a audio. What else? One thing important: driver's license. You all need a driver's license
That's
to
very
to
thing
be
that you need to
especially as
know.
a social worker.
Yes, especially when you're wanting to work in Australia, public transport. It's not like India. You don't have auto. You don't have public transport, metro. You have metro, but you definitely need to have a car license. It's better when you are planning to migrate to Australia. Please have your license ready if you are work to drive safe. So driving license is very important here. Just make sure that you have all those before you migrate. Otherwise, you will really struggle with. If you're working at one place, that's fine. Like if you're working in different jobs or anything, so the driving license is some one thing that you actually have to look for. Then, yeah, just summarizing everything, you begin with the right knowledge, complete an ASSW accredited BSW, MSW, achieve if you are migrating as a permanent resident, 3 to 5 years work experience, or migrate as a social work study program. Meet the relevant English language test. It's mandatory if you wanted to migrate. And even if you want to study also, I think you need to qualify some level of English language test.
Same. I
Yes,
think
then
same.
register with ASSW for professional recognition and join some of the respected Australian profession. So definitely, it's again repetition of the slide. So then definitely your multicultural society, Indians. There's I'm not sure about the number of Indian communities here, but Indians make make up one of the most
Yeah.
the most valued community in Australia.
How many people lives in your street, Indians, Lakshmi, in your own street? How many?
Oh, I think we have a lot of Indians in the street. I think all my neighbors are Indians, like different, not, Punjabis, then,
Gujarati.
Haryana, Delhi, Malayalis. There are a lot of Indians that you can see. Indians really work and thrive here, most of them in the IT sector, social work, nurses. So you won't be deprived of not having any community here. It's a very multicultural place to live in. And if you want to know like food, you have Indian grocery shops, Indian restaurant, Indian people, Indian communities. You have Tamil community, Kannada community, Malayalis community association.
Gujarati.
A lot of things that you won't miss out if you are a socially engaging person and you want to be with Indian community, and they all help each other for working. We have a social workers group that we help each other. We conduct seminars and some fun activities that we all catch up sometime once in a year or twice in a year.
Yeah, we got
And
our own Indian social workers
yeah,
association as well.
association.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem working or migrating. So it's all important is that you need to come here. It's just difficult pathway. So once you are here, it's just after the initial, once you find a job, it's just easy to migrate. It's a very beautiful place, and you are all most welcome. Thank you.
I think that's the end of our presentation about Australian social work. As we said, Lakshmi and I are more than welcome to support any one of you who's actually more interested to know more. We can provide some mentoring support.
Well, we can pass all these slides and all those information in a PDF format, and we can send it to Rishikesh or Renju. If you want to go back, and if you have missed out some of the points, or if you want to know more, just reach out to us. We are more than welcome to mentor and help you out. Is there any questions? I know it's just time running out, and there are a lot
Like
of,
to
yeah.
open everyone to ask their questions, so they can raise their hands or add comments in the chats. So, um, okay. Okay, welcome, Mary. Can you please tell your question?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Welcome. How are
Okay,
you?
so hi, ma'am. I'm fine. Thank you so much for this amazing class. I was looking forward to like some insight into like working over there in Australia, and thank you so much. So first, I have many questions by the way, but I think I'll connect with you later, like you said. My major question was, you mentioned that we need to have like 3 to 5 years of experience, or it's like 1,000 hours of field work experience, right? Is it 1,000 hours? Like I saw it in one of the slides about something about the 1,000 hours. Uh, so is it? I wanted to know more about that. Like, would 1,000 hours of working in one particular field cut
No,
it?
no, no.
Like, would it be?
That's a part of your study. Are you social worker? Finishing studying social
No,
work?
I'm a like second year MSW student right now in Christ
Yes.
itself. Yeah.
So I believe you had some field placement in the first year
Yes,
in
so
Christ.
I
Did you
had
have some?
a concurrent, yeah, so I had a concurrent field work, so which like amounts, so we did it for like 3 months, so that is a pretty much amount of hours. Then there was this one block placement which we did for like 27 days, and then right now I'm doing a 4 month continuous block placement, which is amounting to 100 days, which is like 700 hours. So I was wondering
Yes.
if I did a
So
little bit more within like the next few
no,
like months, would it also like I'm kind of
no, no,
confused on that.
sorry, the same thing what you're studying, that if you count those days, that will be 140 days, more than 140 days. That's what the minimum requirement for ASW. So that's why I
Oh,
said
okay.
I don't think there won't be any issues for Christ University students in terms of recognition purpose.
What I was talking
Oh, okay.
about 3 to 5 experiences that were how I migrated as a social worker. It's just
Hmm.
I completed my master's in Bangalore University, and I didn't come for study. I had to get a minimum 3 to 5 years of experience for me to migrate as a social worker. So two different ways that you can migrate, you can come as a social worker. You can, so that's just getting qualified by ASSW is that part. If you wanted to migrate as a permanent resident, like I was the primary applicant, so I need to have a 3 to 5 week
3 years,
experience
yeah, thanks,
with
Rina.
English language and all those transcript and being qualified by ASSW. Is that we were talking about years of experience and completely different to be qualified. For example, you coming as a spouse of a partner visa, and you don't have to have, you need to have 3 to 5 experience of social work back in India. You can just have 1,000 hours of a field placement and get assessed by ASSW.
So you can do an assessment, after you finish basically your studies, but
Hmm.
you won't be able to migrate as a
Yeah.
permanent resident. That's what we're trying to say. But you could do any other
Okay.
visa Yeah.
Yeah. ASSW does post jobs. They assess your qualification, and also ASSW would help you to get, help you with the migration. The first part of migrating as a social worker is to get to ASSW, and
Skill
they assess
assessment.
the skill migration.
Yes, skill. Yeah.
Is that
Happy to
make
support
sense?
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can reach out to us. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll save my questions for later then. Thank you. I'll just open for others for now.
Mm, always welcome. Yeah, I know it's a common question, so it's always welcome. So we are here. Yeah.
Any other questions, anyone? Uh, Neve, I guess. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do have a question. So,
Yeah.
I have done my master in social work from Christ University, graduated in the year 2025. So currently, I'm working, and it's gonna be a year. So again, I have this doubt where, with a work experience of a year, and after completing all the ASW and IELTS English qualification tests and all the other stuff, is it not possible for PR application?
You mean you talking about you already did you applied for the skill assessment with ASW or not? Not yet.
Not yet. So I was
I think
consulting with an SM. So
you
he
can.
told me, yeah. So there was this conversation which goes like, even with a year of experience in work and English qualification, and then the ASW checkpoint, you can still apply for PR. So
Yeah,
what do
yes.
you say on? Yeah.
I think by the time you start, you can still, because if you look at the migration purpose, you start the process for skill assessment. Once you've done the skill assessment, you can still apply for the migration process. But I think it is, if you not necessarily as a migration for the migration usually I think there is a 2 year experience minimum, that's what it says. But if you already 1 year, by the time you start the process you still
Yeah.
continue to work there, so you will be able
Another
to
thing.
add
Yeah.
your you know and again they will be able to, but as there are different ways the migration works now. What I mean, like, your skill will be your skill assessment, you will be placed in the list and you may be able to get a sponsor, and the sponsor can sponsor and you can start working, then the migration will follow. That's why there are state sponsors, or even some of the states actually sponsor for the social workers. So which means you can. What I'm trying to say, you can start the process after if you already worked 1 year.
Okay. So after a year more, it is more convenient for me to start off the process.
Yeah,
So it's a little more riskier if I start off with a year of experience in work.
you can
Yes.
still start the
So
process.
it's talk about, you go through ASSW, and then when you go down, you can, so what you have to have an Australian qualified social workers, what international qualified social workers, what you have to do. So all this information are here. So, you know, for example, what do I say? Like when I was studying, I had no other choice of migrating for study or anything. So I just had to undergo 3 to 4 years. So once I finish my 3 year, you can even migrate for 3 years, but you need to have a high English skill, competency, like 8 in every unit. If you are having only 7, you can only get 7 for English language test. You will have to wait for 5 years. So it's just a point-based migration process. You get points. That's
Yeah,
something a
the
big,
younger
big.
you get the better point though. Yeah, also
Mm.
the also it's a matter. That's
Okay.
for the
Thank
migration purpose. Yeah.
Migration, for migrating as a permanent resident, you will have to have certain age limit and
you.
qualification education, work experience, English language skill, all those have different points.
And again, the
Mm.
government change the policy all the time. So,
You just have to
it's
go
always
through
been,
in
it's not
the,
be the same.
yeah,
But social work has always been, I've been here in
yeah.
20 plus years, and social work has been always in the skill migration list, because they change the occupation all the time. What is relevant, what is required for Australia.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? I think that's it. Thank you, Mr. Thomas and Ms. Nair, for the deeply enriching and illuminating session. Your reflection have not only mapped professional pathways, but also highlighted the ethical and human dimension of social work practices in global context. I also like the participants here. Uh, as we draw this session to a close, we once again express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Father Josie, Vice Chancellor, for his visionary leadership, Dr. Father Josie, Director, Banarghata Campus, for his continued engagement and institutional support, Dr. Brigadier Jagdish, Director of Office of Alumni Engagement, Center of Placement and Career Guidance, for conceptualizing and nurturing platforms such as Global Connect Series, to Dr. Rishikesh KB, Associate Director, in Institutional Partnership, Internship, Alumni Connect for strengthening and bridging the gap between alumni and the university. To the mentor of Middle East chapter and to all our alumni who have continued to remain actively engaged in the alma maters. Your generosity of spirit sustains this community. And most importantly, to our esteemed speaker, Shiji Thomas and Laxmi Nair, thank you for sharing not just your professional journeys, but your insights, your candor, and your encouragement with the Christ community. To all the participants, to students, alumni, faculty, thank you for being present and attentive and engaged. With that, we formally conclude today's webinar under the Global Connect series. May today's conversation inspire many of the global pathways with clarity, courage, and compassion. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.